of La Penta. This is WICR.
All right, Iona, welcome back. We're here now. So we're going to get you covered with the NBA preseason. So yesterday and these past couple days, we've had the preseason been going on, and the regular season isn't going to start until actually exactly 1 week from today on the 28th. There'll be a couple games played then. I think it's 3 games that night.
Yeah, I think so. Three games.
3 games. And then it's going to get into the rest of the league will start the night after on Wednesday night. So a couple big notes that we have here in the NBA. Obviously, Kevin Durant, arguably one of the best in the NBA in my eyes. I'm a huge KD fan. Can't knock him for what he does down there in OKC. He just had a successful surgery last week, and he's going through his recovering process right now where, you would honestly expect somebody to be very, kind of depressed or sort of they want to get back on the court as soon as they can. They're very rushing, and most of these people, we see them when they get injured, they want to be on the court. So we're seeing a different approach here from KD in his patience, and he wants to get fully recovered before he steps back on the court, and he has complete control of himself. And, we like to see things like that because, as we've seen with, Derrick Rose, he came back on the court right away, and, it messed him up again very quickly. So we'll see what happens with him, but what do you think, G? Is it a big loss now that he'll be gone from 6 to 8 weeks for the start of the season, potentially more. He'll be evaluated in 6 to 8 weeks.
Yep.
So within that time, he could be coming back at that time. We won't know till then, but do you think it's a huge loss for OKC, and what do you think they're going to do and adjust to him not being there for the start?
Yeah, Vin. Well, first of all, like you said, I'm not going to knock him. We shouldn't knock him at all for wanting to take the process slowly. Like we already said, you mentioned with, Derrick Rose. You also have Kobe, who's been injured a lot the past few years. And, I'm not going to knock him at all. I feel like he's the MVP caliber player, so he shouldn't rush anyway. I know his team needs him. They have a solid team nonetheless. But like you said, 6 to 8 weeks with the season starting next week, that's already going to be, he's still going to be out 5 to 7 weeks or so, around that time. And then, like you said, he's going to be evaluated. That doesn't mean he's going to be back at that time. We don't know when he's going to be back, and especially because he wants to not rush it. It's going to be a huge loss. Listen, he's a scoring champion. He's the MVP. Anytime you lose that from your team, it's a huge loss. He's not that bad defensively as well, but, a lot of scoring you're going to miss from the team. So a lot of people are going to step up now. You're going to have Russ Westbrook, really take, the reins of the team right now. A lot of people don't like him. And, he's even had some troubles on the court with Durant himself. So we have to see how he's going to step up as a leader of this team now, because he's going to have to do it with the supporting cast. They're still going to win a lot of games. I'm sure they'll still be able to, pull out some wins that you wouldn't think just because they've lost Durant. But I think they'll be okay. They're still going to be above 500. They're going to be, well off, but they're gonna miss him a lot, definitely.
Yeah, I agree. It's 32 points a game he's been at last season from what we see he averaged, and I think the past 2 seasons before that even over 30 points a game also. So, we'll see how they do, and as you said, Russ Westbrook is definitely going to have to step up. Reggie Jackson also, who actually stepped up last year when Westbrook was injured too, he'll have to put in there. So we'll see how that all goes. Also, this past weekend we had the first 44-minute game, as we said before. They between the New Jersey, look at that, New Jersey. It's Brooklyn now, Brooklyn Nets, and the Boston Celtics, where this game consisted of 11-minute quarters rather than the standard 12, equaling out to a 44-minute game as opposed to the 48. And this game lasted an hour and 58 minutes, which was approximately 15 to 30 minutes shorter than a regular one. And halftime on this game was a minute less, 14 minutes rather than 15. So, I really, in my opinion now, I'm going to give my opinion here. I really don't see a difference in this at all. And from what I'm hearing around the league, I don't see that the players hear much of a difference. And, it really just, what's a minute going to really do? The players, from what I'm hearing, they're quoting that things like, we're not looking at the clock and things like this. And, whatever you give the team or whatever time limit you put on the game, that's the time limit that the players are going to play by, in my opinion. if you told the players that it's going to be 5-minute quarters a game, they're going to play, their game based off of 5 minutes a quarter. So it really, I don't know what they're trying to test out here, the NBA, and if this is going to come into effect, which, by the way, it won't. It'll be a very long time till that happens. I heard that it'll have to go through the NBA D League first before it gets to the professionals. So, I don't know what they're trying to do here. In my opinion, if you wanted to change anything here, and I would say that we want to see more basketball being played rather than shortened, because there hasn't been any reason for anything to be shortened. And I want to hear your thoughts on this. What's your opinion on this whole thing?
Yeah, we were talking about this before at lunch. I mean, really, there's not really much of a difference. What are you gonna do? What are they gonna do? Give the players 4 extra minutes of rest? It's not. There's no difference there. There's no need to cut the games. Like you said, fans want to see more basketball. They don't want to pay tickets. They don't want to pay money for tickets that are expensive and go to a shorter game that's gonna have them miss 15 to 30 minutes more of a standard game. They're going to be there for less of a time. It's still going to be expensive. They want to see their players. 4 minutes doesn't really, mean anything to me. I don't see the reason for it. If they're going to have to make a change, they would have to make it more than a minute a quarter. First of all, even 11 minutes looks ridiculous. Just the number, just an odd number. It's a weird number. It just doesn't really make a difference at all. I mean, I keep saying that, but I don't really see it. I don't see it benefiting anyone. Resting a player for 4 extra minutes isn't really going to make a huge difference. We see LeBron go out there for, averaging like 42 minutes a game. What is he going to average now, 40? We have KD playing most of the game when he's out there for OKC. What is he going to average, 2 minutes less? It's not really a big difference, and it shortens everything. And like you said, we want more. We don't want it shortened.
Right. And I think the major king of basketball, in my eyes, is Michael Jordan. And
always.
What Michael Jordan said on this whole thing taking place is that, he agrees with us. He wants to see more basketball being played. He said, what's the point in it? So, I think that's a huge statement there from one of the leading people in the NBA today. So, we'll see how it goes, but like we said, it won't take into effect immediately. There'll be plenty more experiments and whatnot. So also yesterday we had the Cleveland Cavaliers take on the Chicago Bulls in the preseason yesterday. So D-Rose, what could we say? D-Rose is 100% back, I guess we could say that, because from what we saw yesterday, he was explosive. And this is the kind of player that he is. The performance that we seen yesterday, we seen him shoot 12 of 18 from the field, including 4 of 5 from 3. And that equaled out to 30 points within 24 minutes. What did you see? I think you watched the game, right, G? What did you see in D-Rose playing yesterday?
Yeah, I watched this game. You have a few big names. We have LeBron and Kyrie. They're meshing a new team with K-Love, and then we have D-Rose. Man, I was really impressed. First of all, I know it's preseason. A lot of fans are going to say it's preseason, it doesn't mean anything. But you have Derrick Rose out there playing, almost 25 minutes, and he scored 30 points in 24 minutes. If that's his restriction, he can do this during the season. But he's not going to have a restriction. They're going to take it easy, obviously. They don't want to wear out his knees. He's already hurt enough in the past. But 30 points, and then I think he had 5 rebounds and 3 assists, or it might be vice versa. But he had decent numbers in 24 minutes. If you have him playing, just give him 10 more minutes. What is he going to do? Score another 10 points? He can average a double-double. It's going to be impressive. So he was very explosive. He's driving to the rim. 4 of his make shots from the field were threes. But I saw, a specific move where he crossed Kyrie Irving and made him go completely the other way. And he drove in and he, made a layup between Varejao and LeBron, and he had a reverse layup. So he's looking like an MVP caliber that he was a few years back before he was hurt, and hopefully he can keep it that way. But, I know it's preseason, but he looks like he's getting into form for sure.
Right. There's different kinds of players, different kinds of favorite players in my eyes, where I could see, as I said before, Durant being my all-around favorite player. When I look at D Rose, he's much more of my favorite player to watch. Now, when you see this guy play, he's just got tremendous speed, and he just, like you said, he pulled the moves on Kyrie Irving last night, and he's a beauty to watch, and we haven't really seen much of him in the past couple years.
Yeah.
With all his injuries. So, this is, like you said, yeah, it's preseason, but we like to see players like this that are respectable players in the league that are, well known and popular based off their skill set. And, Rose is obviously a great guy. We never hear problems about him either, and we want to see him back on the court. So, preseason or not, we're happy for him. We like to see what he's going to do in the upcoming season and help his team go further. Now, on the other side, we have the Cavs, who had LeBron with 18 points in 32 minutes. He shot 6 of 11 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range. And then Kyrie added 28 points and 7 assists in 39 minutes. A huge contribution to that. Anything you see on the Cavs side, G?
Yeah, I mean, you're meshing a big three, another big three. We have K-Love, who didn't have a good game at all. I think he had like 8 points, but he had 13 rebounds. But he was, I believe, 2 of 10 from the field, if my stats are correct. He was rough yesterday. But you had Kyrie Irving, who, despite being crossed over by Derrick Rose, bounced back. He had a huge game. He played, I think, the most minutes. It looked like he played a regular game that he would in the regular season as well. The Cavs did go on to win this game, just to mention, by a few points. I think it was about an 8-point deficit. But LeBron, in 32 minutes, he's going to be playing at least 10 more minutes in the regular season. He had, a very good game. 18 points. I know it's not 30 points like Derrick Rose, but 18 points. He had 7 rebounds and 6 assists. So he had a solid game, and took 11 shots from the field, and he made some threes as well that he's been trying to improve on the past few seasons. So it's going to take the Cavs a little bit of time to mesh together. They're going to have to get the chemistry. They have a lot of new players. It's not just them. They have Sean Mary, and they have a lot of players that they really need to get together and just get a chemistry like the Bulls had. But the Bulls also, have players to mesh together. They have some new pieces. So we'll see how it all goes. But the Cavs are looking good so far in the preseason, and Kyrie and LeBron, they're connecting for a lot of alley-oops and things like that. They're already getting off to a good start. So it's only a matter of time since we see it in the regular season.
Right. We're looking forward to seeing LeBron back in Cleveland and what they can do going on as the season goes on. So also, us being Iona College, our campus being in New York, we're Knicks fans in here. And last night we played the Milwaukee Bucks, where we actually lost 120 to 107. We're now 2-3 in the preseason. We had Carmelo with 24 points, but the stat here that we want to look at, I know the 22 points sounds appealing, but we want to look at the fact that he had 22 attempts and made 7 of them. So you want to look at that and you want to say to yourself, is that a good stat you want to hear from your leading scorer on your team? Well, potential leading scorer. He usually leads the team in scoring. Do we want to see that type of stat from your leading scorer, G?
Definitely not. And this isn't really a shock. We've seen this problem in the past few years. Last year he really carried the team. Anything that they really did, he's pretty much the contributor offensively at least. But we've seen problems in the past where he's had a low shooting percentage and things like that. You missed 15 of your shots. This is not even 50%. It's not even close to 50%. You're around, the low 40s, high 30s in the percent mark. He started off pretty well. He hit his first shot, his first few, I believe, but then he got cold. And I know it's preseason. Maybe he's not taking it as seriously, but it's a problem when you have, your best player out there and he's not shooting well. But I'm not going to take it, too far. But, 24 points, yeah, it's great, but you didn't really shoot well, so it's not much you can do there.
Right, and we didn't even expect to see Melo in a Knicks uniform. I think most of us didn't expect. I don't even think he expected to see himself in a Knicks uniform this upcoming season. But now he's here, and hopefully, they got Derrick Fisher now under their coaching staff. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we could see maybe there'll be some new changes this year. Maybe we're looking forward to it though. We'll keep you all covered with that also. Also in that game, Amari had 14 points. He looked great last night, right? He had shot 5 of 7.
Yeah, he had a solid game. Amari, I'm liking him because he's staying healthy. That's one thing. We actually saw this kind of weird thing where I think ESPN reported it, like the last 5 to 6 months, he's been taking baths in wine. He's literally been trying to rejuvenate his body. That's just something he's trying to do in the offseason because, he's not young anymore, and he's always injured. So he's trying to stay healthy, which is a good thing. I'm happy to see him care about it. He's not just getting paid for nothing. He's trying to play basketball for the New York Knicks, and that's what we need being Knicks fans. Like you said, 5 of 7, 14 points. He had a few rebounds. He had a good game. I think he only played like 24 minutes or something like that, or maybe even less. So he's being efficient. That's what we want. The only thing is we need some defense as well. And just to mention another player, we had Tim Hardaway scored 20 points. He's been good off the bench even last year in his rookie season. He's going to be, someone they really need when J.R. Smith and Amon Shumpert are struggling. So Amari and Tim Hardaway, they're big pieces, and we also have, a lot of new players that we can talk about. But before we end this, I just want to and hand it back to you. The Knicks' problem is really their defense. Their offense, they're going to get stuff. They're going to be able to score because they have Melo, basically. He's going to drive. If he's not shooting well, he's going to get to the free throw line. And, sometimes he does make passes. He's not a complete ball hawk. He can be. But he makes some passes. He makes some plays happen. We have good point guards. We have Calderon and Prigioni. We have, players that are capable of scoring and making things happen on the offensive side. But the reason they've lost 3 games so far is because of their defense. You have Jason Smith, who's a new signing this season. We're going to see if he stays healthy. He's okay in the paint. He's a big guy, but he's not your ideal center. We have Samuel Dallenberg, who is kind of old now. He's not young, so he's a big guy. He's almost 7 foot, but he's not going to do too much. He's not going to be able to play 30-plus minutes. He might give you like 25, 30 max. And then you have Amari. Like I said, Amari's going to have to be good on the defensive side because if he's not, then a lot of players are going to score on him because they're trying to play him at center. And he's kind of an undersized center. He can score on a lot of centers because he's versatile and he's effective. He has a little burst. He's back a little bit, to his old self. Not completely, but he's back, almost there when he's healthy. But the problem is the defense because we don't know how they're going to play. So if their defense is bad, the Knicks are going to have another tough season. If they can play decent defense, an average defense, and score, then they'll be a playoff team. I think that's what we have to look at when we look at the Knicks.
Yeah, I agree. You're giving some valid points there on, hopefully their defense, as we said, they got a lot of things to worry about. They got the defense. They got the problem with the issue with Carmelo. I think he's a great player, a great offensive player, I think, in my eyes. And, this team, they got a lot of things to worry about. It's not going to happen overnight. I don't see anything happening overnight with the team. And, a potential maybe 8th seed in the East.
Yeah, they could be even better. If they played like the defense I've been saying, they can get up to 5th, 6th, maybe I think around there mid table. But like you said, if they don't, then they might drop to 8th and even lower. They might not even make it. So,
right. Well, we'll see how it all plays out. So that'll do it for the NBA. Big news going around. We got you covered. Next week will be the day of the first regular season game, as we said, next Wednesday. That'll be the 28th. So we'll have you covered with all the games going on for that night and everything else. So we're going to take a short break, though. We'll have you covered with our last segment of the day with the NHL. We got the Rangers playing tonight. And also soccer. We have the game going on right now with Roma. So we're going to get you all covered with all of that, and then we'll wrap it up. So don't go anywhere, guys. Thank you.